Okay, thank you very much. All right. Um, let's call to order the meeting of the Board of the Port Wardens on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 will be called at 7 o'clock p.m. In attendance, we have myself, we have Port Warden Jared Lerner, Scott Anderson, Harold Siegel, and Jonathan McCopp. So we're all present. And then from the city, we have Mike and Meekins and Madeline as well. Um, we are all in attendance, and we certainly have a quorum because we have more than three. Okay, approval of the agenda. Nothing is getting removed tonight, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve, Jared. Jonathan, I see it. You were on mute. Sorry, Scott. You might as well not be on mute. Okay, so all those in favor for the approval of the agenda, please state aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That was unanimous, so the motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, the next element is going to be administrative. Um, and which we've already dealt with the approval of the agenda. Now we need to approve the minutes from tonight's meeting, actually, I'm sorry, we're approving the minutes from the meeting of September 23rd, the last meeting we had. Can I get a motion and a second for that?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I got motion to approve from Mr. Siegel and a second from Mr. Anderson. All right. And all right, all those in favor to approve the minutes from the meeting of September 23rd, 2025, please state aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that was unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda is findings of fact from the meeting, the September 23rd, 2025 meeting. And I'm going to go one by one. So next item agenda is port 2025-00010, 722nd, and it was replacing kind a 6x14 pier, 10x12 floating platform, and 3 mooring piles. And is there a motion to approve the written findings of fact?
I'll make that motion to approve the written findings of fact.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll give that to Jared Lerner. Thank you very much. All right, all those in favor of the motion to approve the written finding fact of port 2025 00010, 722nd Street, please state aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that was unanimous. Thank you very much. That passes. All right, next item agenda is the findings of fact for port 2025-0009, Song 34 Williams Drive. Don't worry about the order. That actually is how we heard it. So, but it's 0009, and it's Lee Sung 34 Williams Drive. It was remove landward portion of existing pier and associated structure, replace 16 foot of long and a 4-foot section. There's a number, construct a 1 low profile stone groin, sand containment, maximum 32-foot waterway, and replenish 60 feet of stone revetment within maximum 10-foot channel one. Is there a motion to approve the written findings of fact?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve from Mr. Lerner.
I'll second
I'll
it.
second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Siegel, thank you very much. All right, all those in favor to approve the written findings of fact for report 2025-0009, 34 Williams Drive, please say aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that was unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Okay, there is no old business this evening. So let's go ahead and we're going to hear the next item on the agenda. I'll get to the structure of it, but let me just announce it. So it's port 2025-00011, and it's the Point condominiums, and it's demolished floating pier for a total of 2,602 square feet over the water to be removed. Construction is 2,560 square feet of floating pier T dock, 903 square feet of fixed pier, including 630 square feet, 273 square feet of loading platform, 572 feet of zone 3 helicoil anchor bulkhead, and 28 zone 5 reinforced batter pile walls, piles only. Okay, if Madeline, if you can bring anyone planning to testify, if they can, if we can bring them in and I can swear them in, that'd be great. So if any audience here, please let Madeline know who's coming in for this particular matter.
I think this should be everyone.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. All right. Mr. Bittner, are you going to be speaking?
Hi, this is Peter Bittner. I represent the Point condominium.
Okay. Can you put your camera on? We need to swear you in.
Okay, give it a try here.
And Mr. Radger, sorry. Yeah, if you're, let's keep you in if you're. All right, fantastic. Okay, great. All right, if you could raise your hand. And all right, you do solemnly swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give to the Port Wardens is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I swear.
All right, thank you very much. All right, as a preliminary matter, the board will accept into record the application packet, the staff report, and any public comments. Would the city staff board, Mr. Meekins, like to present any additional information about written staff report?
I don't have anything new to report outside of what I circulated the staff report. There's one edit I need to make in number 2 under critical areas. This property is buffer modified, and I actually had inadvertently had the word not buffer modified. So it is buffer modified. Also, I want to add that the mailings, the signposting, and the newspaper advertisement all took place in a timely manner. And the city had received no public comments for this application.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, which applicant, who is going to be speaking to the matter, or are both of you going to be speaking to the matter?
I'm happy to describe the project and
Okay,
take any questions.
If
Absolutely.
you can, could you give us a brief description of your qualifications that are relevant to this application?
Yeah, sure. I'm Chris Rager with Bailey Consultants. I'm a senior project manager. I've been working on the Point Marina reconfiguration project, and I've been permitting projects in the Chesapeake Bay region since 2006.
Okay. All right, great. All right, if you can go ahead and walk us through the application, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. Is there something I can share my screen, or you guys all have?
Yeah, please do. I don't know if Madeline has to turn something on for you, but a lot of times the consultant will share.
Sure. Sure. So this is a fairly straightforward project. It's of note that it's been permitted by both the Army Corps of Engineers and the Maryland Department of the Environment to date. The project at the Point condominiums on the southern shores of Spa Creek. It does have various components. The main component of the project is the demolition of the existing T dock at the Point, and that's currently a fixed dock, and that would be replaced with a floating dock system, increasing many of the slip sizes to accommodate current boats. In addition to that, there's the replacement of the bulkhead in Zone 3. If you guys can see my screen here, we're going to be using a helo anchor style system here, so as to not to sort of as to disturb as little of the upland area as possible. So as opposed to digging back into the land, like you might see in some bulkheads where you put in dead mans, we're actually going to drive 30-foot helo anchors from the water through the wall into the ground. There's a bit of a reconfiguration of the existing slips in that section. Coming around to Zone 5, throughout that area, the bulkhead has a few places where some of the pilings and members are deteriorating, so we're going to be replacing those members with some additional batter piles. So on this screen, you can see the existing conditions, including the harbor line and all of the existing current docks, and as well as the the existing conditions along zone 5. It's a pretty simple design. We tried to keep kind of in the same orientation as the previous dock that was sitting here. The biggest change is it is moving to floating full pier sections to again accommodate the sort of a modern boat that you might see in the area. We'll be having to replace the boardwalk that's over top of the bulkhead, and we're doing a slight reconfiguration with wooden fixed fingers, very similar to what's there now, but just reconfiguring to match more with the new T-dock reconfiguration. The batter pile section of the point here with here along zone 5. I think it's better if we just look at a cross section real quick to kind of see what's happening. Essentially, there's an existing wall, has dead man's. We're going to shore that up by putting bump blocks and batter piles in to make sure give that wall a bit more longevity and not have to do an entire replacement just yet. Pretty simple project. More than anything, I'll take questions if you guys have any.
Okay. So I have let me just check my order. We do I guess before we get to our questions, I probably want to hear some public testimony, but there is none. I just want to confirm that. There's no one else here from the public to speak, right? Oh, okay. I assume no one's raised their hand. I can't see that. Only Madeline can see if they were. All right. Okay. So we don't have to worry about rebuttal at this time either. So my question is, how much longer is the T-dock? Because I notice you indicate length of the new T-dock, but I'm not sure I see the length of the old T-dock.
So it's about 40 feet longer. I think this is probably the best look you can get. This has both the existing conditions in the hatched, and then
Okay.
the floating dock is in the gray.
Okay. Oh, that's good. I guess I didn't see that because you got to zoom in. Let me see. Actually, I really like that. I'm sorry, I did not notice that.
No, it's okay.
Like I had to go to 150%. Okay, and then my next question, and I want it, Mr. Bittner, are you from the community?
Yes, correct.
Okay, will that end of the T-dock be rented in any way, shape, or form? Yes or no?
No,
Okay. And you do know even temporary, you're now, and you can be touching the harbor line. So that's fine. But you are now, obviously, with the growth of the T-dock, you are effectively, it looks like maybe, I can't tell the
5
linear,
feet.
the lateral footage to it, but it looks like you're super tight on the harbor line.
Yeah, it's 5 feet.
Okay, great, fantastic. And
yeah,
you didn't even need the 5 foot setback when you're on the harbor line, but that's good. I just want to make sure you know that the harbor master is supposed to be enforcing, the harbor line itself. And as long as and I'm glad you said it definitively no, because that is something we want to make sure of. Okay.
absolutely, no.
All right. I really don't have any other questions as sort of a let me turn it over to uh, uh, my other port wardens for any questions. Gentlemen?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I think it's a nice redo of what you got, and I agree it's going to accommodate better the typical size boats we all have, or not we, but people have been getting used to having. So I agree with that. Okay. All right. The I guess, there's no more people to speak. You guys have asked your questions at this point, so I'll declare the public hearing on Port 2025-00011, the Points condominium. We can discuss the statutes. Port wardens, feel free to sort of jump in. This is not affecting navigation. The T-dock, they don't intend on renting out the harbor line side of it at all. So it's well within, I think, their riparian area. They're not using mooring pilings at the end, at least on the T-dock. It doesn't appear they are. least I don't see them in the drawings. Um,
So it looks like everything's being replaced in kind, correct?
but for being floating, you
Right,
know,
and that's the only issue I'd ask about that would be if it's gonna have standpipes. Is that a requirement?
Would you repeat that? What type
yeah,
of?
could you,
For floating piers, do you have to have standpipes?
The regulations aren't different between floating and fixed as far as the code for fire and ladders, and nothing changes whether fixed or floating, I don't believe.
and assuming since, you know, the city gave its blessing.
Yeah, if I could interject, Mr. Chair, this will be, if this is going to be considered to be approved tonight, the applicant will also be filing a maritime permit, which is essentially a building permit on over state waters, and it will be reviewed by various agencies, including the fire marshal.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion as far as Title 15, gentlemen? And again, to me, it's not proposed any new, there's no congestion being produced by this, or issue to navigation that's just 15.16.30. It's the placement is within our confines as far as the setbacks and or the harbor line. There's the structure is not material water pollution or erosion or materially impair marine life or wildlife, including the projects that happen in Zone 5. Everything to Title 15 looks appropriate to me. Do you gentlemen have anything else related to the criteria and our code?
No.
Okay, all right, great, thanks. I will entertain a motion to approve or deny the application in Port 2025-00011, the Point condominiums. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion
I'll make that
approved.
motion to approve.
All right, Mr. Lerner, Mr. Anderson, will you second that, I guess?
Yes, sir. I
Okay,
second that
thank you
motion.
very much. All right, all those in favor of the motion to approve the application Port 2025-00011, the Point condominium, please state aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Was that Mr. Siegel and I? Okay, that's
And me.
unanimous. Mr. McCott, sorry, I didn't see you, but I
Aye.
think all right, good. That was unanimous, all five of us. Thank you very much. And gentlemen, thank you. Let's go ahead and move to the next
Thank you.
item
Have a
on
good
the
evening.
agenda. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Port 2025. I'll start reading it while we bring some people in. Next item on the agenda is Port 2025-00012, Spa Creek Marina Company, Inc., Burnside Street, and replacing kind floating pier 6 by 223 feet, and another replacing kind pier, floating pier 6 by 125. I'm sorry, by 153 feet. All right, anyone planning to testify, well, first let's bring all parties involved with this particular matter in, and then let me go ahead and get anyone planning on testifying. Please raise your right hand. I need to be able to see you. So Mr. Eshelman and Mr. Bluevelt, if that would be great.
Mr. Chair, can I interject real quick?
Sure.
So I just sent the prompt to everyone who is listed like as for the agenda item. I'm about to send the prompt to the 3 people that I have listed for public testimony. I also had a few names come in, and I know that at least one person was shared the link without being on the list for public testimony to just listen. Do you want me to send prompts to those people in case they?
No, only those that are going to speak, even though we're going to turn off the public, the non-experts. but anyone who's going to speak, I'd like to swear in at one time.
Yes, I'm saying I have a few more names that weren't on the list of.
Okay, are they here to speak or are they just observing? Can you have them raise their hand if they're going to speak?
Yes, I can do that.
All
So
right, that'd be great.
Spa Creek Marina Condominiums, if you're here to speak and not just listen, will you raise your hand real quick? All right, I saw no hands, so.
Okay. All right, good. All right, if all of you, thank you very much. If you could, those that are going to testify or even speak after the experts, please raise your hand. And you do solemnly swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give to the port wardens is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
I do.
All right, thank you very much. If we can just have the consultants or the applicant and consultants in the video portion of this, and then we'll come back to those who want to speak one at a time. Okay. So who are the applicants and consultants? Mr. Snyder, I'm sure of.
Yes.
Who else?
Chase Ushelman also here for Spa Creek.
For the community.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Can we mute or eliminate the others that are just going to speak later for now? Madeline, thank you.
Yes, I'm doing that.
Okay, great. All right. And not eliminate, just remove them temporarily so we can focus on the order with which we're going. All right. All right, let me move to the next thing, which the preliminary, the board will accept the record application packet of the and the staff report, as well as any public comments. Would the city staff board member, Mr. Meekins, like to present any additional information about written staff report? Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any additional information to add to the staff report, which I've already circulated with the board. Again, my apologies, but I have one edit to number 2, critical area. I have listed that this property is both in the IDA, intensely developed area, and the RCA resource conservation area. The RCA resource conservation area is not applicable to this. That is a typo. So my apologies for that mistake. I would also add that the mailings, the sign posting, and the newspaper advertisement all happened in a timely manner. So, yeah, from the city's point of view, I will, that's all I have to add, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right. If we can go ahead and begin the applicant and or consultant, who in particular is going to be the primary, I guess, Mr. Snyder?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, if you can very quickly give and I know you and we know you and all that, but give briefly describe the qualifications relevant to the application, that'd be great.
Yes, my name is Chris Snyder. I'm with Waterfront Engineering. We're an engineering firm located in Pasadena, Maryland. We specialize in marine design, residential, commercial, pier design, shoreline erosion control, including bulkhead reconstruction, living shorelines, stone revetments, and anything regarding shorelines. I am here on behalf of Scott Melke. He was supposed to be here this evening, and he's currently dealing with a family matter. So I'll be speaking on behalf of Spot Creek Marina Condo Association. And if you would like, I can continue into our description of the project.
That would be fantastic. And feel free if you want to share the screen. That's great for us as well.
Yes, certainly. If I will pull up the current plans so they are readily available. As Mr. Meekins previously mentioned, we are seeking the approval from the Port Wardens to replace the existing fixed pier with floating piers and associated mooring piles in the same locations. Slip sizes are to remain the same as well. All these proposed improvements will be of the same size and same location as the current configuration of the marina. As part of this process, and Mr. Meekins already mentioned, signs were posted both roadside and at the end of the pier on October 17th. Publications in the Baltimore Sun ran from Monday, October 20th through Tuesday, October 21st. Neighbor notifications, 182 neighbor notifications within 500 feet of each property corner were mailed out via post haste on October 17th via the mailing addresses that were in the State Department of Assessment and Taxation records. This project was also submitted to the Maryland Department of the Environment and Army Corps of Engineers. The acknowledgement of the application was received on October 22nd, 2025, and is currently in review with Maryland Department of the Environment. At this point in time, we have not received any comments. We also received letters of no objection from both the Annapolis Yacht Club and Newport Condominiums, which were forwarded over to Mr. Meekins as well. Otherwise, I will open it up for questions.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else from the community who is, I guess, Mr. Eshelman, like, is there anyone else who wants to discuss right now while we have experts in this? Not right now. Okay. All right. Then let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and invite public testimony. If we can do that, if we can stop sharing this so we can see faces better, that would be great. And then let's go ahead in order of at least the way I see the group. Let's start with Mr. Blavel.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. What is, if I might ask, if when we bring you in from the public, if you could explain you're a neighbor or you're part of the HOA or you're another slip holder, that's something where the relevance with which you're coming into this equation.
I am both a slip owner as well as the acting president of the HOA.
Okay, great. Go ahead if you could.
We did have Mike Mitrione was our treasurer who was supposed to attend this too. For some reason, he didn't get in the meeting. But I think everything looks pertinent to me. Is there any questions? We want to move forward with getting our same slips designed in kind but floating, and worked quite well with Chase Esselman as a maritime attorney firm, and it's been a complex process, but we're glad to be here.
Okay. I'll wait till I will have questions, I think, of you, but I'll wait till we get through the rest of the public testimony. All right, Mr. Turnbull.
Good evening, gentlemen. So I want to start by giving you a little bit of background information, and you're going to have to forgive me somewhat for the length of this, but there is some history and there's some objection. There's objection to this project as submitted. This is my second Port Wardens meeting. My first one was in 2017 when they were rebuilding the bulkhead at this same location. The bulkhead encroached about 36 inches into slip 43, which if you look at the plat on this is one of the bulkheaded slips. There are 4 slips along the bulkhead. Oh, and by the way, the Turnbull and Brockmeyer families own slips 13, 31, 35, and 43. The one relevant for this evening is slip 43, which is adjacent to the bulkhead, closest to the AYC piers. The prior plans, as I said, they encroached in our slip. We came to the Port Wardens. They ceased. We had to do a cease and desist order. We had to file a lawsuit to get that bulkhead properly configured. We've had a second lawsuit that just ended in 2025, both of which, by the way, were completely successful because our board makes unilateral decisions on behalf of the property rights of its owners. There's a historical lack of transparency here. We don't even know what was submitted to you tonight. We have a packet that was submitted to the ownership and voted on several months ago. We got a notification that the vote passed. That was it. And then we got a notification of the Port Wardens meeting. We've asked for information. And here's where sort of the direct impact on our slip comes in. There has been a lack of transparency, and here are the main reasons why the project shouldn't be approved at this point. You will see, because we are going from fixed to floating, there will be a gangway from the bulkhead onto each of these piers. Slips 1, the slip adjacent to that, and then the slip adjacent to 43 all the way across the bulkhead. The gangway, we've been told they would be using potentially an 8-foot gangway. We've been told they've been used potentially a 10-foot gangway, and we've been told they're using potentially a 12-foot gangway. We don't know how long the gangway is on the drawing you have, and I think they will probably tell you tonight whatever you want to hear to try to get the project approved. We have no way of knowing where this gangway is going to come down. It is, first of all, going to severely access or limit access to the back of the slip. Our pedestal will not be in the normal spot that it would be, and our access to our dock box would not be in the normal spot it would be. The president and the board proposed perhaps you can move your dock box and pedestal along the bulkhead. Well, the bulkhead belongs to the community, and that would require a change in the bylaws. Basically, we were told at this meeting, we'll get to that later. Well, I'm not willing to get to that later for two reasons. Number one, it would require a change in the bylaws and a deeding of property from the marina to us, individual owners along the bulkhead. Secondly, we have no way of knowing whether this gangway is going to cover the finger pier. You'll see the finger pier on the slip across from that is wider. A prior owner built that wider, and I think they're going to rebuild it so it's wide like that. Because these slips are very, very old, they actually predate the original harbor line. The harbor line actually that you all work with was established after this original pier was built. That's how old it is. It goes back to I think 75. But as it sits right now, it's sort of askew and on an angle, and they were able to build a bigger finger pier on that side. But on our side, if you look, if they're really inexact measurements that we see there are off, it will completely eliminate access to that finger pier and hence that slip. We're willing to live with compromise, but it's got to be done ahead of time. We can't be told, "Oh, well, we'll address your property rights," because remember, all these elements are common elements. They belong to everyone in the marina. They can't tell us, "We are going to take your property rights temporarily. We are going to eliminate potentially access to your slip, eliminate your ability to have a power and water pedestal like every other slip, eliminate your ability to have a dock box in the same location as every other slip." So those are the property rights we're taking from you. The value of your slip we are taking from you, and we are certainly willing to compromise with you, but we'll get to that later. Well, I am not willing to get to that later. If I have to file a third lawsuit and an injunction against the marina, I will do so. It is preposterous to me that they're going to cut off potentially access to this slip. And we were told by Mr. Blavel and Mr. Mitrione, who mysteriously doesn't have a link to this meeting, we were told we'll get to that later. So I really think that you all, quite frankly, most respectfully, I have to be careful, but I don't believe the Port Wardens have the authority at this point to grant this project as is because it is so materially affecting the property rights of that slip. There has to be something in writing from the marina that the bylaws are amended or will be amended or are amended. There has to be some sort of binding contract with them that's enforceable for you all to approve this project. Otherwise, quite frankly, putting a stamp on this project exposes the city to litigation as well, because I don't think that this project is ripe for approval. Do we want these docks replaced? Yes. Could the docks be absolutely beautiful and as pretty as the ones you all approved at AYC years ago and the Newport 2 years ago? That's exactly what we want. But we can't have question marks like our slip's going to now be worth nothing because you can't get in and out of it once you're in your boat. I would ask that plans, submission, drawings, no one has been able to answer for us where how long the gangway is going to be, where it's going to hit on the main pier, and how far it's going to basically cover the access to that finger pier, which is our only access to that slip, unless you want us to jump down from the bulkhead, which I don't think is a reasonable request. I am going to defer to one of the other owners, my partner, Miss Brockmeyer, to see if she has any closing regards. But we all, and Mr. Turnbull, Grayson Turnbull there is also an owner, and our daughter, who's at the
Okay,
University of Florida, is
gotcha,
also an
gotcha.
one And I speak on behalf of all of them.
Let
So,
Mrs. Brockmeyer speak if we can. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Mrs. Brockmeyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I just elevated you a little bit. We do not have a copy of that record application report. We do not have a copy of those final drawings. I was trying to see what Chris Snyder put up, and it looks like we also own slip 13 and 35, which are end slips. And as Mr. Turnbull said, those end slips were before you guys had a harbor line. It looks like they are now cut off. So I'm concerned that they're now saying that we're not going to have access to 13 and 35. Unfortunately, if the marina had sent us a copy of this application report, sent us a copy of the final drawings, had provided any type of transparency. In May of 2025, we're talking a couple months ago, we had a 2-week jury trial in Anne Arundel County Circuit Court in which we prevailed. We were awarded financially for the behavior of the marina. And our entire theme of that trial was transparency, that they will not provide us anything. They will not tell us anything. And the jury agreed with us, and they agreed, they awarded us money because of their lack of transparency. And here we are, once again, no transparency. We don't even have a copy of the application report. Those drawings, that's all I can see is what Chris Snyder put up, and I couldn't see them. I don't have a screen large enough to really see what was on them. Had they provided this, I emailed them in August, and I have not heard back. They won't even respond because
Who is they? May I ask who they?
So David Blavalt, Mike Mitrione, and the other members of the board, they refuse to communicate. They believe that they get to make all decisions and it doesn't matter. So in 2017, we went through the same thing. The Port Wardens ordered that Scott Milkey's firm come back to us, redo the drawings, go, and then come back to the Port Wardens, which he did. And then they told the contractor, the board at that time, to just do their original drawings. And we came down to find that our slip had been cut in half. It would no longer be usable. Had to have a stop work. We had to file.
What was the beam of the slip prior?
I would have to look.
Okay, because cut in half, Mr. Turnbull said it was 36 inches.
It was
so was
more
the slip 72 inches wide? I doubt.
No, it was
right. So a little hyperbole with cut in half. Just
well, it was more than 36. I think he misspoke on how much.
Okay.
It would have
And
been
if that's
curiosity.
What'd you say, Jack?
I just want accuracy. Just
Well, that's
out of
really not the
curiosity.
takeaway here, but
Yeah.
We
I
filed suit
apologize.
then, and we were victorious then too.
Okay.
They had to tear out parts of the bulkhead. They came down. The city said, you're not following the permits. And the contractor said, the board told us we didn't have to.
Okay.
I was standing there while the board told the contractor on the phone, don't listen to her. She's a renter. That is what the president of the board at that time told the contractor, and that he could continue to cut our slip off.
Okay.
So this is the theme of this board, and there's new people on the board, but this continues. So we now have slip 13 that looks like it's being cut off, slip 35, those two end slips, and slip 43. We no longer know because we don't even have the plans.
Okay.
So if we had transparency, and then they said they're going to change our deeds and deed us parts so that if we do we cannot have.
May I ask a question about the deed? Am I correct? I thought those properties were 100-year leases.
No,
is that accurate or inaccurate?
That is inaccurate. We have a deed. I own that.
Mr. Laval, I had learned, I could be wrong, but I was told that each of those individual slips were actually 100-year leases.
No.
No.
Let me clarify.
the
What the
marina-
100-year lease is that the marina has a 100-year easement through a lease with the yacht club. The what actually owns the marina is the yacht club condominiums. That building there actually owns the marina, and the marina has an easement through the yacht club condominium property. We share the pool, and then the marina has an easement on the bulkhead and to the slips. The
Okay.
slips are individually deeded by way of, believe it or not, a very small mailbox, which I don't think anyone even owns the mailboxes anymore. That's the piece of property that you own, but that is deeded to the slip. So no, they are not leases. They are deeded, purchased pieces of property.
Okay. All right.
So how
Mrs.
we,
Brockmeyer, do you have anything more?
just that we don't even have a final drawing. So how can, and what he put up appears that 3 out of 4 of our slips are going to be affected by this. And
Okay.
so how can, it's just a lack of transparency. It's a belief that they can do whatever they want. They sat in court, they watched the testimony, they listened to the jury award us a verdict in which their Mike Mitrione actually jumped up, slammed doors, acted horrible. And they just continued the behavior. We want to work with them. Trust me, I don't want to sit in a 2-week jury trial. I had to have my son fly in. He lives in Auburn, Alabama. I had to fly in to testify and fly back to have another exam the next day. We don't want to do this. But why would they not just provide us the drawings? Why would they not provide the application report? Why have they not responded to my email since August asking them questions? It's just
Okay.
ludicrous.
All right. Thank you very much. Miss Grayson Turnbull, if you can.
Yes, sir. I really don't have anything else to add besides what they have. I was just here in case there's something else I thought of. I really agree exactly with what they're saying. There's a major lack of transparency in the plans. Like we still, as my mom and dad have said, don't have a final copy of what was submitted to you. And that makes it really hard for us to be able to even approve. And then also just kind of reiterating, we don't know what the situation with our dock boxes or power or the gangway would be. And it's just really hard to not know that and have to look at a plan and be like, oh, we agree with this without any reassurances.
Okay. I thank you. Yeah, thank you. I guess is there we now have an opportunity for a rebuttal from the applicant and or appellant. Can we, I guess, have the discussion before we get to our questions, the port wardens? Is there anything that Mr. Eshelman or Mr. Mincher or anyone else? Actually, where is Mr. Oh, there he is. It's on the upper right corner. I'm sorry. All right. Mr. Bluevogt, is you want to speak? I hope I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just going to mention again, Mr. Mitrione is trying to get in the meeting, but somehow hasn't got access, and he is our acting treasurer.
Madeline, excuse me.
Is it possible that he joined under the name Spa Creek Marina Condominiums? That's the only other name I have, and they didn't raise their hand when we asked. I can promote them now on the chance.
That probably
Okay,
is.
if we promote him, I want to swear him in briefly because he wasn't sworn.
Thank you.
Now.
My son just asked if he can go. He has to study for an exam.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you.
Yeah, no, that's no worries. All right. I'm going to need to see your video and your audio. I apologize. I didn't get the last name and it's showing as Spa Creek.
Yeah, it does. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
What is your
Sorry
name
about
again? Let me
that.
write it down.
My name is Mike Mitrione, Mitrione.
Okay. All right. If you would very quickly, let's take a second. Raise your right hand, and we're going to go ahead. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give to the port wardens is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Who wants to speak at this point? I guess let's have you go, and we'll go through the rebuttal process and or the applicant sort of discussion.
Okay, so me, right, Mike? Yeah, so we have been working on this project to replace the marina for over 3 years now. COVID and you all experienced COVID, right? Set us back, set everybody back. The backlog kind of grew. But we reached a point kind of middle of this year where we actually had a couple of options on designs. We had a series of meetings where the Turnbulls and the Brockmeyers attended, where we went through the different options that were being considered and being presented with I guess Mike Meekins in planning, just to get some feedback. At the end of the day, we really couldn't get agreement on any other configuration in the marina outside of an in-kind replacement. And so that's what we're coming forward with, exactly the same footprint of what exists today. That design was put forward to the community. Everyone received copies of all of the design documents, and we had a series of meetings on that. We also took into consideration there was an objection on the length of the ramp coming into the dock because it would cut off some access to the 4 slips that are by the bulkhead. So we shortened it to 8 feet. We put that up for a vote and at the with the community. We had an all members meeting, and we actually put the length of that ramp, which originally in the plan showed 12 feet, and now we reduce it to 8 feet. And we also put a vote to go forward with obviously these plans that you see in front of you, and move forward with this permitting process. That vote was very successful. We had 84% of the members vote yes. We had no nay votes. I think there were 3 unit owners that were not present. And then we had 4 other unit owners that were present but did not vote. So we had a majority acceptance of the design, and that's what we submitted to you. Yeah, I was in a 2-week trial back in April, May timeframe. I didn't slam any doors. I think I was pretty gracious. And I can, I'm a pretty calm and level-headed person. There were 8 counts in that lawsuit. We won 7 of the 8 counts and lost 1.
This is not pertinent to our responsibility. I don't want to waste your time, and it's not relevant to what we do on the Port Wardens related to Title 15. So
I just wanted to, I mean, if this is public record, I just want to, let people know that I'm not a person that slams doors or
not we're concerned with Title 15. That's our only charge.
Right. Well, then everything I just talked about is HOA related, and I don't think it's relevant to this meeting, to be quite honest with you. And if I mean, I can turn that over to Chris Mincher, who's our legal representative, that can go into more details if you want.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll just speak very quickly. I do think that you've hit upon the fact that the vast majority of what was said is not relevant to the decision you have under Title 15. It just has nothing to do with the decision you have before you. Now, I think you're going to want to know that you properly have a proposal in front of you that was approved by the owners to know that legally it belongs there. And I would almost just pair what Mike just said. There was a vote that was validly held in accordance with the declaration bylaws and the Condo Act, 84% approved, vast majority, no votes against. It's properly before you, and it's limited. Many of the complaints that we're hearing about dock boxes are minor rules matters for the HOA. They have nothing to do with what's before you as the Port Warden. Or the gangway question, which again was resolved already by a vote held immediately beforehand that the attendees here were at that meeting, and saw the gangway vote that was held. So, I mean, that's a settled question. It's none of these things really have anything to do with the criteria that are set forth for the port warden and the decision that's in front of you. These, to the extent that there's complaints that these are not final drawings, my understanding is that you all aren't issuing building permits. You're not not every single matter has to be laid out finally at this point in the process, which is and it does not have to do with the authority that the port warden has. So what is before you right now is within your authority. It's at the right point in the process. And all the other ancillary matters are simple condo association matters that should be handled internally or in any other sense not involving the port warden. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have about
I have
the process.
questions.
Well, let's let Mr. Mincher speak first or finish, and then we'll get to
Oh, I
questions.
apologize. I thought he asked for questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure, yeah. You know, I've not heard things that point to any of the criteria in Title 15 and say, here is where our complaint is compared to the decision that you make with the legal criteria in front of you. I haven't heard citation to any of the criteria that the port warden uses to make this decision. So again, there's a lot that could be talked about. There's obviously a lot of history here. I don't agree with the representations that were made in large part, but I also don't think they have any business taking up your time in this meeting. But I'm happy to answer any questions from the port wardens on the Condo Act issues. Mr. Eshelman's here for some of the more technical, marina issues.
Okay. All right. And keep in mind, as long as we keep this matter sort of open before we get to we close it to the public, at least we can ask questions. So let me, is there anything you want to say, Mr. Bluevelt? I know you had passed it to Mr. Mitrioni, but
I appreciate the chair's time. This has been a long HOA process of 3 years of volunteering to fix a problem, which is, I think we've come to a great solution, which is the exact same configuration of the docks, but floating. We presented that to Mr. Turnbull and Ms. Brockmeyer. They were put on a rebuild committee, of which they gave us input. As you can see, we've had lawsuits in the past, which I was not on the board during those lawsuits. I'm not an attorney in Maryland. So what do? I've hired attorneys that understand port lines and harbor lines, as well as HOA rules. And we're trying to do this by the book to get the best possible dock replacement for this condominium.
okay. All right. I guess, are there any, Mr. Turnbull, you seem to have a question?
I do. I have several, actually. Mr. Mitchell, where on that finger pier, where exactly is that gangway going to land? Is it going to take all of the finger pier space, half of the finger pier space, or none of the finger pier space? Can you tell us from that drawing?
That's a more technical question that if the port wardens would like it answered, I would send that to Mr. Snyder and Mr. Eshelman.
Okay, well, assume just for the sake of my hypothetical that it takes 1 inch of our property, okay? Because the finger pier is not a common element. It is a limited common element owned only by the slip holder. So assume that it takes 1 inch of my ability to access my property. Is that a lawful taking of property? If you affect my ability to access my property as a general tenet of law, is that legal?
That is a very large question that is not before the port wardens right now. I can tell you that it seems like there's a difference of opinion as to what the declaration and the plats give you as property. It sounds like you are saying that the law requires 100% access in all instances. I would not agree with that statement, but it's also neither here nor there before the port wardens right now.
We are, just to clarify, and again, I understand what's being discussed here. The Port Wardens looks at a property like this, and we are only set to have input on what Title 15 is in charge of. Okay, your setbacks, the riparian right area of the entire property. Okay, not the individual slip level, but the entire property. Is it within its setback? Is it, and this is an issue, although there's some historical elements for in-kind replacement, is it within the harbor line and not protruding? There's no setback to it. You could be all the way up to it. Those are the issues we have any say in. If you have multiple shared elements within the same HOA, we don't have say in who has what on each side of the respective slip. If they go to skinnier finger piers or fatter finger piers, we don't have, as long as they're within the building permit that the city is in charge of. Okay, so we have some limited restrictions. I will say that when we have two independent neighbors, true, honest to God, property owning neighbors, as in land, okay, then we look at the setbacks and the lateral lines. And if there's disputes, especially with historical lines, we sometimes say to them, can you guys work it out? Can you figure this out? But it's not our role to say what an HOA can do within the area that we're allowed to actually look at. Does that make sense?
It does, but I
Okay,
mean, we don't
thank you. That's
even
what,
have the plans that they've submitted to you. So it's hard to say where
well,
the
the
gangway is
plans,
going to
am I
land. And if,
correct,
look,
Mr.
if the
Meekins?
city
The
wants
whole
to help
point
them
since
take our property
2023
rights, that's fine.
to have the formal applications within the city package is all plans are accessible, correct?
Was that directed towards me? There were
Yeah, Mr.
multiple
Meekins,
people.
sorry. Yeah, it was a little interruption.
So the plans are available. I don't know if they're accessible without reaching out to me.
Okay.
Just because there are two sides to where we have managed plans,
Okay.
and some are available, some are not. But I mean, I have multiple times in the past when residents surrounding the property have a question about the plan, I make those plans available.
Okay, and I don't have it memorized, but the notification goes up how many weeks prior?
So the newspaper notifications are basically 2 and 1 week prior to the hearing. Waterfront Engineering was responsible for the mailings that went out to surrounding property owners.
Right.
Which I won't speak for Mr. Snyder, but we have evidence that those were mailed out. Now, I don't know. Typically with mailings where you have a condo association, you are by code allowed to mail to that one point of contact versus many other condo owners.
Okay, and in this case, am I correct that there are a number of slip holders that may not actually own like physical condos in the apartment building, correct?
Correct. These are fee simple slips, which are relatively unusual.
Okay.
As Mr. Turnbull pointed out, the mechanism for I'll call them condo fee simple slips, even in state waters, the attachment is basically that mailbox. It's a kiosk of mailbox. So each slip owner owns property by way of that mailbox, and that mailbox is tied to whatever slip they own.
Okay. All right. Mr. Snyder?
Yes, as I previously noted, and as Mr. Meekins alluded to, typically in a condo association situation, we only have to notify the condo association address. In this specific instance, we notified every address, every mailing address located within 500 feet, including the individual owners, which is why there was 182 mailing notifications sent out, which is a
Okay.
significant amount.
All right, I'd like to open up to some port wardens to have questions. I mean, we haven't closed anything, so people can speak, like, who are.
If I can speak regarding the mailings, we own 2 condos. We did not receive mailings. We own 4 slips. We did not receive mailings. We received an email from the marina, but we did not receive them. And we own 2 of the condos at Yacht Club Condos, and we did not receive it as slip owners. So out of 6 properties, we did not receive anything.
Okay.
So our obligation is to get those mailings out at a minimum 10 days in advance. They were sent out 11 days in advance through a mailing service called Post Haste. We use the mailing address, not the premise address, because a lot of those condos are rented out. So whether they make it to you or not is, to be honest with you, at the post office's job. We can give them the tools to do their job, but whether they make it or not is on their burden. We have the proof of the mailings that has been sent to Post Haste with all 182 packages, which can be provided to the port wardens if necessary.
All right, I'd like to open up to some port wardens for some questions. Again, we'll discuss the title stuff later, but for right now, port wardens, please join. All right, Mr. Siegel.
Yeah, I have a sort of a question initially. The slip holders, would they be considered adjacent property owners in the light that we usually look at adjacent property owners to have a say, versus them just being a subset of the homeowner association, where in effect they have no say because we have to deal exclusively with the homeowners association as a whole? In other words, they're claiming in effect to some extent that they are independent owners adjacent, in effect, property owners, which we do have a say in, versus.
Here's something that might help define that, and I'm sure someone will know the answer. Do you slip holders pay individually for the portion of the dock and the finger piers insurance? If there were a major hurricane that ripped all of them away, what insurance policy covers it? Who is that in the name of? Can anyone answer that?
Marina, however, we pay individual property taxes to the city and the state of Maryland.
I understand that.
Under
For the
each
insurance
deed.
for the
I don't know
docks.
necessarily. I beg your pardon?
For the insurance for the docks, who pays for that? Whose
There's a
name is
master
that?
policy that the condo association pays.
Okay.
But that's with any condo association.
Any condos.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But interior, you in a condo, you have your own set of insurance you pay for, correct?
To the wall boards.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Okay. So the exterior, the access, the docks themselves, the pilings that go with them as well, I assume. The insurance for that is paid for by the condo association, correct?
But we
Is
have to
that
have
the controlling?
Yes
Is
or
that
no?
the controlling element?
No, I'm trying to
property
decipher
taxes, it's a
based on
separately
Mr.
deeded
Siegel's,
piece of
is it
property on a
actually-
plat, and we pay separate property taxes. If that's not a separate piece of property, I don't know what is.
And our boats have to have a rider on it for the marina. Like they have to,
Right. That's for the boat insurance. That makes perfect sense. If I bring mine to a marina and have it hauled, it has insurance. And I pay that myself.
Is that dispositive of the issue, though?
Well, I'm trying to look at what Mr. Siegel's direction he's going of is it like the property itself, which is being altered or improved, depends how you look at it, is actually being done by the HOA, I assume, with funds from the HOA. Okay. And so I'm just trying to sort of feel this thing out. You know,
So
We're way off our
Mr.
scope of what
Anderson,
responsibilities.
what?
We're way off of our scope of responsibilities for Fort Wardens.
Right. Correct.
Can I interject for a second? The one piece that I would want to know is if riparian rights have been transferred through that deed from the marina at all to those individual property owners. I suppose it's possible, but I want to read the deed because if they do have riparian rights, they may or may not, right? They may have just been given the usage of that dock in the deed. I haven't seen the deed. I have no idea. But if the riparian rights were transferred to individual owners, don't know the answer to that. It could be yes, it could be no. Then under Title 15, we might have to consider the effect of this on other riparian owners. And that's how it would then become an
Right.
issue.
It's a really good point.
in effect, so you do pay individual taxes to the city based on your property.
Substantial ones at that.
Yeah.
Pardon, I did not hear that. What was that?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
All right. Mr. Mincher, do you can you answer that question from Mr. McCott?
I have not seen the individual deeds that transfer from slip owners to slip owners. I mean, I will say that what they have through the declaration is they have, it's a limited common, they have a share of a limited common element that is set forth, ownership through the declaration and, of the condos, the Spot Creek Marina condo. So I'm not aware of what's on their individual deeds. I can't make a representation about what it says on their deeds. But ultimately, my personal feeling on this is if they're not pointing to criteria or things that are within the scope of the port wardens and looking at Title 15 to make arguments based on Title 15, whether or not you decide that they are adjacent property owners or not is completely irrelevant. You wouldn't wait until a property dispute between two people who are when the ask in front of you has absolutely nothing to do with the criteria that you apply and the decisions that you reach.
Well, actually, the riparian right, if they have individual riparian rights, I think that's what Mr. McCopp is saying, then it does all of a sudden potentially have an issue. It just like if we have two neighbors, with defined riparian areas.
Well, but so what riparian rights have we heard that are being impacted? There is everybody who's a part of this condominium essentially treated legally as a matter of contract have all decided that decisions are going to be made by the group, which has been done 84%, not individually. I mean, they don't have they don't have the right to go and assert individual rights as to the limited common elements when by essentially a matter of contract by law, that is a matter for the group through the declaration of bylaws procedures.
Right, but you can't.
What are the riparian rights that we're hearing are being impacted?
And quite frankly, how will we determine setbacks? You'd have to have a 10-foot long finger pier in order to have the actual to code separation, which I don't think you would have in a marina because it's a marina. So any other port wardens have any questions?
I just have a thought.
Yeah.
Do you not give up some of those rights by in effect joining by joining an association? You may have your own property, but you give up some rights by being part of an association.
I bought a piece of property, just like I went through a closing, just like I would buy a house. And there's a plat and it shows what my slip is, where my slip is located, and the size of my slip. That's what Chris Snyder put forward. I've never seen what Chris Snyder's actual drawing is, but there is a plat, and I believe it's dated from like 1980 something, that shows what I purchased. It
90.
shows my limited common element. For example, slip 35 that I brought up to you guys and said it looks like it's now cut off. That is a limited common element only for my slip. So no one else is allowed access to that limited common element. It is not a shared finger pier. The only person that has access to it and allowed to use it is slip 35. Slip 13 that I brought up that appears that they have now cut off also has a limited common element finger pier that is unique for that slip. So when I purchase the slip, it's not that you just purchase a slip and they can assign you one. You are purchasing a slip on a plat. It is a specific slip in specific
Wait a second,
dimensions.
but you're
It's
saying the
specific
finger
limited
pier is
common
not
element.
shared? Are you saying the finger pier is not shared?
Can I?
Slip 35, the finger pier is not shared.
I understand that, but the other slip you own, the one on the bulkhead, is that shared?
Not
Yes or no?
shared.
That is the finger.
That one is shared.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
But it doesn't mean that they're allowed to cut off access to it. They can't. Oh well, we give up some rights when we join a condo association.
No,
That's just like, oh well, we're going to build a new staircase, but we're not going to run it all the way up to the 5th floor for your unit.
Right.
I mean,
how is the access being cut off by the ramp?
We don't know because we don't have the
know because
drawing.
we don't know where that gangway is going to land. If you look at the drawing, the gangway stops before the finger pier, supposedly, but that's going to eliminate our ability to put a pedestal and a dock box behind there. There's only going to be 12 inches between the gangway and the edge of the pier.
Do you find it odd that they won't give us a copy of the drawing and they won't give us a copy of the application report? Does anyone find that odd or
yes,
concerning?
please go ahead.
A couple of items. Everyone received a copy of the drawings and all the information as late as August 28th when we had the meeting.
As submitted to the port wardens?
Well, I mean, those are the drawings that were submitted to the port wardens.
So you're claiming that's exact same drawing with no change.
If I can just finish my thought, I listened to you. As far as when I bought the slip, I'm just going to share my understanding of it is I bought a unit that there's these 2 sets of mailboxes on land, and we are each assigned one of those mailboxes. That's the unit that we own. We own that. So I understand that the docks are all part of common element, and there are limited common elements within the docks. There are signs. It's like a parking space. You know, if you're in a condo, you have a condo unit, you have a parking space. That's basically how I think of it. How it was explained to me when I went to closing.
What is the address of the docks? What is the actual real? Because again, data search, real property titles. I can find it now. What is the address of the docks?
There are 2 of them. One is, and Chris, you might have to help me with this. One is 300 Burnside, and I think the other is
Correct. It's 300 Burnside Street, and actually Mike Meekins might be able to speak onto this because it's actually tough to find in the city of Annapolis system. It has to be looked at.
I'm looking at SDAT. And are the unit numbers reflective of the slip numbers?
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So the unit, I mean, you have like my unit's 20 and my slip is 20. So they're one and the same.
Okay, so there's a certain number that show up at 300. What was the other one?
I can't remember. It's like 319 6th Street, and you have to spell out 6 SIXTH. I think it's 319 and 316. Chris, I shared that with you. I can't remember.
Yes, I can find out. Bear with me for.
Yeah. I don't know why. I guess the management office when back in '93 when they were selling these, I think there was a foreclosure and the bank sold this, reconfigured the docks. They went to the Fort Warden at the time.
It's 319 6th Street, and 6th is spelled out.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So for some reason, it went from that address to the 300. They're on, I couldn't see a rhyme or reason. Some are assigned to one, some are assigned to the other.
Okay. All right. And the only thing I'm seeing, I see them, but they're referred to as tight marina condominium slip. Um,
Yeah, so Mr. Chair, it's 300 Burnside Street, unit and whatever number, 16,
Gotcha.
17.
Okay. All right.
I have a couple of just very quick things, which is that, I mean, I understood that all the records that are before you now were sent out before the vote, and people have them before the vote. There are certainly mechanisms in the Condo Act to obtain any records or things before the board, before that are held by the condo, that can be obtained. I don't know that there's been any issue with making sure that information goes out, and I believe it was the same. The, you know, and as to the question about the common elements, you know, the declaration sets it out so that there's ownership of the unit, which we've described as essentially a mailbox, and then rights and ownership to the various common elements, including the limited common elements. But the main thing I want to make here is that there are comments being made about the plats. The declaration has procedures for amending the plats and has criteria as to when you need to amend them and when you don't. There has been no vote by the membership on any plat amendments. And I do not believe that people have put a plat amendment before you, at least not one that has been approved by the membership. At this point, all that's being asked for is what was voted on, which was an improvement or alteration of the limited common element, which is the floating docks. And that is what's in your authority. And you can compare that to the criteria that you have in front of you, and you can reach a decision. Nothing about plat changes or the procedures for that, all of which is dealt with internally within the declaration and the condo association documents, is a matter for you all to deal with, frankly. Thank you.
If I could share my screen and show you the drawing that they sent, the most recent drawing, and you will see that it does not match Chris Snyder's drawing he put up. And the big concern being slips 13 and 35 and what they have cut off the end. So that would be dealing with the, so if can I share?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me show you. So if you see the end, I not believe, because like I said, this is the most recent drawing we have, and what Chris Snyder put forward, this did not match. So slip 13, I'm putting my cursor on top of. What Chris Snyder put forward had like a line cutting down, and it looked like it was cutting. So there is an issue. And then slip 35 over here, which we also own, seems to be configured differently. And then what we're talking about with these gangways, the most recent drawing they had 3 different size gangways here. So we do not have what Chris Snyder sent. So Mr. Mitrioni was not lacking some candor with you guys, because this is the most recent drawing.
And to that point, if I could, it's
Jack, let me just
crucial.
finish. So if we,
Okay.
it's crucial that we have the record application report, because this is our most recent drawing. Mr. Mitrioni just now said to you under oath that this is the exact same drawing that was sent to you. And if I am not mistaken, because I didn't see it for very long, but what Mr. Snyder put forward was not this drawing. Is there a way to put them side by side and have Mr. Snyder put forward the drawing he put forward earlier to you?
If I may, the sheet that you're looking at, which was distributed, I believe, for the association meeting, that is one of the sheet of the packages that were sent. So
I don't know. I didn't get the package.
Well,
Okay.
the one we're looking at has a much shorter gangway. The one that they've actually requested approval seems to be exponentially shorter. It's
And no
actually
one can answer, and this is crucial, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, Adele. No one can answer for me where this gangway is going to be attached on the bulkhead. They don't know if it's got to start 10 feet back on the bulkhead. They don't know if it's going to start 3 feet from the bulkhead, and that's going to affect where the gangway hits the pier. Look, I'd love the gangway to hit the pier and not affect the slip at all, but that's not reality. So they've said it's going to affect your pier. You're not going to be able to put your dock box in your thing. We're going to work with you, but they've given
Yeah.
us nothing. We are
But
definitely an adjacent property owner to this project, and they're taking our property rights.
All right,
but Jack, if you look at this
let's
drawing, there's an 8-foot, there's an 8, 10, and 12-foot at the bottom. And at the meeting, you were there. We voted on the 8 foot, and you can see where the 8 foot ends on this drawing. And that was what was submitted, 8 feet. And that's what we voted on.
Well, I
And
also have
the other
concern
shows,
about
I mean,
13
the
and
other,
35.
Hey, we can only have one person talk at a time. We're going to go ahead and mute people who can't, wait their turn. Okay, please.
and the other was, I guess Chris's, what he showed earlier showed the harbor. I believe that was the harbor line.
Can we unshare this? And Chris, can you share what appears to be, pardon me, because the replace in kind.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't see a page number right in front of me. It's the one that shows the existing harbor line and the
Correct.
smaller gangway. It's got
So
the existing harbor line is in red. That's the one. That's
Correct.
the latest interpretation,
So
correct?
as correct, as part of the drawing package that is submitted, obviously multiple sheets
And
of this
that's what
package are submitted.
the building inspectors, once that goes in, that's what they will make sure it's being built to.
Correct. The
Okay.
sheet that Ms. Brockmeyer is referring to
Yes.
is farther into the drawing package.
Sure.
Is this sheet right here. This sheet
Okay.
is depicting the 8-foot gangway that was agreed upon, supposedly, or voted on at the association voting. That is what is depicted on this sheet in the drawing package that was submitted to the Port Wardens. Now, whether that was distributed amongst the association is up to the board. But this is what was submitted and mailed out per the requirement on us as the agents.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is the first time I'm ever seeing all this. So we did not, and we own 6 pieces of property and none of them arrived to us. So it's very unfortunate. Had this been emailed, maybe we could have had a discussion, but they won't respond. So that's why we get to where we are. They've also cut out part of our slip here on slip 43. So we actually own that triangle there. And I guess they've decided they're going to take that from us. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. So that's a whole nother issue. So if you look at the bottom of slip 43, if you can go back down, Chris, that triangle is actually, the triangle there is actually owned by us. And you've taken that out. I don't know if you meant to take that out or what your intentions are, but that's actually our property.
This is the dimension sheet. This is pure dimension sheet. This is based on the survey that was conducted by Drumlicka.
Okay, so that triangle to the bottom right corner on the right, that is our property.
Well, that could be the adjacent neighbor's property. If you look at the bulkhead and where the bulkhead breaks, there's a logical break in it. I mean,
we actually have a pier, a floating pier there.
Okay.
There's no.
And is that permitted?
What?
Was that permitted?
Not a floating pier. It's like we put something in there to sometimes have our kids put
Is it a floating pier or not a floating pier?
It's not a well, it depends on how do you define a floating pier? It's where we put something so that my kid can pull a kayak up and climb out.
Okay, so that would be a floating pier. Is it always there?
No. It's like mobile, like you pull it in and out.
Okay.
You can sometimes we put a dinghy there. Gotcha. Like it's a space that's like a dinghy, kind of like we can put a kayak there. That's our property.
Okay.
That makes sense. It's what makes that slip valuable is that it has that extra space there where you can put like I don't know, we have like a 12-foot little dinghy that you can like slide in there. Does that make sense?
It does, but if it covers water and it's permanently there, then it's actually something that's supposed to have been permitted.
I have the original deed, the original plat that came with the property, and I could show it to you, and it looks very similar.
Okay,
to, if I may, share that out. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see that. This, and I'll pan out. This is the original plat. I
Okay.
guess Mr. Meekins Senior may have actually done this back in 92, 93 timeframe. Sorry, go back. And if I go in here, if I go here, you could see this is how it's drawn in that document.
Okay.
All right. So I mean, I don't think there's any change with what we have. It conforms to what was in the original, the declaration. Excuse me, that's what I'm thinking of in the original declaration.
Okay.
And then I just want to show you one other thing, just to kind of, these are the, they call them buildings, right? But these are the mailboxes here, and another one here.
Okay.
Okay, and then even in this drawing, it gives you
Right, the individual mailbox that are the
I just wanted to kind of share that with you, but those are the documents. That's what the plat looks like.
Okay.
We haven't deviated from that.
I'm going to ask a question. This has been going on a long time. I want to ask a quick question. This is going to be a floating. You're creating floating docks. There has to be a ramp. There has to be a ramp. You can't do it without a ramp.
Correct.
What do you want? What could you do? You can't get rid of the ramp. There's going to be a ramp, and it's going to interfere with somebody's property. It just is.
Yeah. Well,
what do they what can you possibly want? I'm talking to the other people. What is it that you want? What could you possibly want? There has to be a ramp there. So what are you going to do? You're making
I want to know where I'm going to have electricity. I want to know where I'm going to have water, and I'd like to know where I'm going to have a dock box, because 42 other slips are going to have all those things, and mine's not.
Well, that's not in our purview.
Then that's not in
I
our
will tell
purview.
you, that's not in our purview.
That's not in our purview.
That's not part of Title 15.
Well, then it's affecting the value of my slip, and I'm an adjacent property holder. So I don't agree, most respectfully.
Okay. Mr. Lerner, you look like you were going to open your mouth.
Oh, I'm all right. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Are there any other questions of Port Wardens? All right. Let me, I don't know if I want, let me ask one question before we close, and I'll ask this of Mr. Snyder. The existing harbor line, do you have photo evidence from prior? I believe you do. I just want to confirm. Do you have photo evidence prior to, what was it, 86? You probably know better than me. That extra portion of the slip, and especially those moorings that are well into the harbor line, were there and have been there for years.
Yes, they have been there, and in fact, this is, as we had already gone back to, when the harbor line was established and drawn, this already exceeded the harbor line.
Okay.
I have that documentation. I don't have that document readily available.
I believe you, because I saw some photographic, some sad photos from earlier. It's just sometimes not exactly clear. I just want to make sure, because I don't want them to also lose those slips, because if this is not an in kind, then the whole HOA would have possibly some issues because they have to conform at that point.
Correct.
Okay, so it's critical that all parties understand that, and that, there could be a risk with the conforming issue. You know, it doesn't, to me, I think in kind for floating is a legit because we're dealing with way bigger tides. We're dealing with all the reasons why it makes sense to have floating. But it is something I just want to make sure we don't want to get too creative because if it deviates too much to accommodate the few, it could be, it could be a redo, which means everything has to be within compliance, regardless of how it was prior.
Correct.
Okay.
And this was from the plat, and the harbor line is the exact same. And these same slips, they're the same slips and mooring piles that are protruding past the harbor line are shown on this plat as well.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me go ahead. All right. Just one last time. Any other port wardens have any other questions? Okay. I declare the public hearing on Port 2025-00012, Spa Creek Marina Incorporated, Burnside Street. All right. Now let's go ahead and anyone in the matter, they don't need, I mean, please listen, but we're going to go ahead and turn video. We can't ask any questions beyond this point. So we don't need, it allows us to not have to react to reactions. We can just discuss it, but all you guys are here with us as we discuss. So Madeline, if you could go ahead and leave it to Mike and the rest of our port wardens, that would be great.
Yep.
And there we go. Okay, and then everyone still should be able to hear this perfectly and see it as well. Okay. Amongst ourselves, as Title 15, as long as it truly remains in kind but goes to just floats, which it looks like the attempt is, it seems to be fine. As far as Title 1620, there's no additional navigation that hasn't been here for decades or beyond decades. And again, I'm not driving this in direction. I do think there's other things to discuss. I think that if this were clear cut related to certain elements, then like if it were two neighbors, we might say, listen, can you guys take 1 month and try to work through this so that it can be a common dealt with. But in this case, to me, it's one entity requesting this alteration that took a vote to do it and was 84% evidently. As far as 15, 16, 20, it's not an increase to pollution or erosion. It doesn't impede navigation. Again, that's 20, 30.
Yeah, we've been through first.
What? I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm sorry, I'm agreeing. Sorry.
Okay. The harbor line and setback lines, as far as we are allowed to work with, they're well within their setback. The harbor line, again, is a little different. As long as it stays the same, I feel like we traditionally have always kept in kind and never mandated compliance with historical element if, in fact, they're just replacing in kind. I did not ask the lifespan and or what's the safety of their own dock. I would that would be interesting because obviously, you don't want to make it dangerous for everybody else that's a neighbor of theirs or a shared HOA participant. Develop a waterway, lateral line is acceptable. Okay. Nothing related to commercial, so we're not worried about that. And congestion, there's no difference because they're staying the same. So let's discuss this. What is everyone's individual thought?
I don't think there's anything to discuss.
What? Go ahead.
I don't think there's anything for it to discuss, really. I mean, we've already established that Title 15, which is our scope of responsibility, has been adhered to, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we'll vote on that, but as far as I can see, related to our responsibility, that's
Right now, I empathize with some of the public testimony. Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's not our it's not our genre, you know, it's not our place to do anything about. Just as if the harbor master was going to go enforce something. That's out of our jurisdiction.
Correct. Yes, correct. I completely agree. Mr. McCott.
Yeah, I was just going to go through some of the things I was looking at. One was 1518-110, the non-conforming use. And it meets everything there. There's no real additions, there's no enlargements, it's the same footprint. And when you look at the definition of in kind in terms of it's like the same usage and the same footprint in length and size, and I think it meets all of that. So I didn't see anything there that really, and if it's built before 1980, then it's all considered lawful. So even if it crosses over, that's fine. So I didn't see anything there. So I agree with you on that one. And then 15, 16, 30. I was thinking about the riparian rights, but if it's a limited common element, from my understanding of those are still owned by the property.
Yeah.
If the person dies or goes away, it returns back to the property.
And riparian rights are
shared.
usatory. You don't own riparian rights. They're usatory.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have access, if you're able to use it, but you don't own it. Usatory rights.
Okay.
What they call it.
Okay. That's helpful. So then I don't think we have to really consider that element of 15, 16, 30. So I kind of agree with you. I don't think there's anything here for us to really discuss.
Okay. Mr. Siegel.
Yeah, I was impressed a little bit with the concept of taking of property, but I also see that when you're a member of an association, you agree to the bylaws, etc., of the association, and which I think can supersede to some extent your thoughts of what you really own, what you don't own, what can be done with your property. I equate it, and it may not really pertain to Code 15, but if you're an association, they can have somebody mow your lawn and you have to pay for it. Is that taking of your property? Well, it's doing things to your property. Same sort of thing. They're doing things to the property here, but they have the right to do so. And so I don't know if it really pertains to what we're responsible for as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Yeah,
Lerner?
I agree with all Mr. Anderson and Mr. McCobb. I heard what everyone had to say. I understand what everyone had to say, but in terms of what our purview falls under, I think it meets all our requirements, and yeah, I don't think there's anything to discuss.
All right, thank you, thank you. I agree with all of you guys. I do sympathize with the parties related to the concept that things are changing, but I think the common area, which common means you have a responsibility to the others that you share that common area with. Again, that's not in our purview. That's just me as a human who've actually lived in places that have to have shared front doors and or shared elevators and or shared access to those respective elements. So it sort of is, they voted on it. It was it sounded like a vast majority of a vote, and it's, I think, back in their court if people feel grieved, but it's not our responsibility, because our responsibility is to Title 15, and as far as we look at the property, I think we all agree that Title 15 is not an issue or not a reason to possibly decline, but we need to take a vote on that. So if I can get a motion to approve or deny Port 2025-00012, Spa Creek Marina, Burnside Street, I would appreciate a motion, and then a second.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Okay, I got Mr. Anderson. Can I get a second?
Second it.
All right, Mr. Siegel, thank you very much. All right, all those in favor of the motion to approve application port 2025-0012 Spa Creek Marina Company Incorporated, Burnside Street. Please state aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that was all 5 port wardens. Thank you very much. Thank you all participants. Again, we do appreciate all the different circumstances and the conscientious thoughts. But as far as Title 15, this has been approved. Thank you. All right. All right. Let's go ahead. Is there anything else for the good of the order? I have one thing I'm going to add, and I know it's not, but I think I can add it at this point, and that would be Mr. Meekins. Is there any way that a URL and or a way that an applicant, when notified and or posted, can actually look at an application, and or is there something the city can think about? That way, anyone who may have missed some of the information, and quite frankly, snail mail is almost the I know it's the official way, but it's almost the opposite way that is the most likely way. It would be great if someone were to add the email requirement as well. But is there a way for that to occur? So that's one less thing that a person involved in a neighbor, whoever it may be, can actually take a look at things.
Yeah, there's a way. Unfortunately,
Very robust.
The platform that the city uses is not exactly as user friendly as it could be.
Okay.
So with that in mind, as I described briefly in the during the hearing, there's like 2 sides for information that comes in. And one side has some sensitive information about applicants that shouldn't be
Public
seen by
knowledge.
the public, right?
Right.
And so it's you've got to move information around. So my thought is we can certainly do that, and as I alluded to, we do that, but it's not 100% of the time. My other thought is with other boards that I'm involved with, so in this case, we post the agenda online 2 weeks ahead of the hearing. And within that agenda, that PDF, I can embed a link to the plans that have been submitted, the application that's been submitted. And I kind of think that might be the best way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just something to think about. I understand there's a lot more that goes into the decision like this because, like you said, there might be some parts of it that is NPPI and other parts that is fine for anyone to look at. But it is something that would help all parties, I think, just so there's no concern that someone didn't receive the right scenario. It's basically the great part is you shift the onus onto a participant more so than just, I don't know, just a thought for
it's an excellent thought. And unfortunately, snail mail, the code is
right,
set up to, use snail mail, but obviously that's a bit dated.
Yeah.
And, those folks are working double time and it just, we get this a lot in other hearings.
Okay.
Where somebody comes out, I never got notified. Well, we have proof that it was mailed, but we don't have proof that it actually ever
was
got
received. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, just an idea. All right, let me shut up. It's been a long meeting. I do apologize, but thank everybody. Adjournment. Our next regular meeting will be November 25th, though. Is that the middle of Thanksgiving? Hold on.
That's
I like how no one else knows. No, that's Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. Okay, so that should
November
be
25th.
Yeah, that should.
Yeah, that's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that should. Okay, let
I was gonna say at this time, I don't have any applications, so I can circle back in probably 2 weeks. Well, let's see.
Okay. Right.
I would
I would say keep on track, especially since we do it via video.
Mhm.
And then that as long as we have a quorum, we should be if we only have findings of fact, we're talking about a 10-minute meeting, if that.
Gotcha.
So, and then that way we keep everything on track. But I'll leave that up to you guys as well. So let's see how it evolves. But for right now on the schedule, the next regular meeting is November 25th, 2025. All
Fine
right.
with me.
There being no items on the agenda, I'd entertain no more items. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Mr.
I'll second that motion.
All right, Mr. Anderson, thank you very much. All right, all those in favor of adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, hearing no opposition, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys very
Well
much.
done.
Sorry